So they allow us huge amounts of leverage on our capital, and so most professional traders don't do those. They'll just do the ratio spread. The reason why we trading from home, and I'm under the same capital restrictions that you are now, because I'm no longer on the trading floor, the reason why we buy the tail for the butterfly or the broken wing butterfly is for margin. Without the tail, the margin's too high for us to absorb. And the other thing is risk. On the trading floor, we're down in the pit every day. Some people aren't even going to the bathroom. I've actually seen examples where like guys will lean against the wall when no one's looking and urinate in a cup because they have positions on that they're looking at, and they don't want to leave the pit, but they have to go so bad. It's really animal-like and chaotic down there, but we don't leave the pit. We're watching the positions every second, and we know in one shout of our voice or one raising of our hand where we can get out in an emergency. As retail traders and people trading from home, we don't have that same luxury of just being able to yell to the guy next to us. And in a second later, our risk is cleaned up. We have to take more of a risk-averse stance in case something happens. Our computer could go down, the data quote feed could go down, millions of things can go wrong. And so we have to have that tail to clean up our risk a little bit. We can't take the same type of risk exposure that guys in the pits can. Now, people always wonder how the risk profile of the broken wing butterfly and the butterfly compare. And this is a graphical representation of what we just looked at. We're looking at a butterfly that can be bought for a $2.30 credit. Debit, excuse me. It's a 330, 315, 300 put butterfly. It'll cost us $2.30 versus the 330, 315, 290 broken wing butterfly for a 10-cent credit. And I know this isn't the same butterfly we were discussing moments ago for a 70-cent debit, but it's going to be the one I'm going to be using for the examples going forward, so I want you to get comfortable with this. We're going to be comparing the 330, 315, 300 traditional butterfly, which was actually trading for a $2.30 debit based on closing prices, versus the 330, 315, 290 broken wing butterfly that closed at a 10-cent credit. And many people who are a little skeptical about the broken wing butterfly say, well, it has an added risk component. The one thing you do have to remember about the broken wing butterfly and the butterfly graphs that we're looking at right now is this is the graph of the spread at expiration. This is when there's no time value left. So this is the worst possible scenario or the best possible scenario if you happen to hit it right at 315 strike. At 315, if the market's at 315, you hope this is expiration. But prior to expiration, it can be a worst-case scenario if the market is outside the butterfly, either butterfly's bandwidth. Now, what you'll see is going from the market, say, 340, as we proceed down, the blue line, which represents the broken wing butterfly, outperforms the traditional butterfly all the way down to somewhere around 297. So the market can fall from 340 down to 297, and on a break-even basis, the broken wing butterfly outperforms the traditional butterfly. Once we go from 297 and down, it looks like there's a huge amount of area where the broken wing butterfly actually underperforms the traditional butterfly. and that's true on expiration day, but typically this is only true on expiration day only, which is why our books have criteria that discuss what to do leading up to expiration. Now, the question that naturally comes to everybody's mind, because everybody here is focused, they want to be great traders, and the best way to measure whether you're a good trader or not is real simple. P&L, profit and loss statements. It's real easy to separate the good traders from the bad traders simply by not listening to how much knowledge they have. You can be the smartest trader in the world and not know how to make money. One of my friends, as a matter of fact, was at the same world-renowned trading firm as I am, and he's probably one of the smartest guys I've ever met. He had a very promising future ahead of him at this firm, but it was always his dream to get his PhD. So he left the firm and went back to school, got his PhD in mathematics, and went on to do his dissertation on an option pricing model that he created. We're talking about a bright guy when you create your own pricing models. And then went on to Wharton, and he's teaching at Wharton. And he will freely admit he's only had one winning trade in his life. Back in, what was it, 85, 86, when I got into this business, he told me to go out and buy Microsoft stock with both hands. He went out and bought a couple thousand shares with all the money in his pocket of Microsoft and rode the stock all the way up back in the heyday when Microsoft would double every year and then split and then double and split and double and split. But that's pretty much one of the only winning trades he's had. He's got he may even have a second PhD right now. Very bright guy, can't make money trading. Some of the dumbest guys, and this I say not just to get off topic, but it should be encouragement, is it's not the amount of degrees that you have that makes you a great trader. I've seen some guys that I wouldn't let cut my lawn on the trading floor that were consistently making 10, 20, 30, $40 million a year. And these guys, you wonder how they can tie their shoes. What they have is a little bit of knowledge. They're savants. They have a little bit of knowledge about one thing, and that's all. And you know what? That's all I would rather have a little bit of knowledge about something that can make me a great deal of money than be able to memorize encyclopedias. So the natural question when you're looking at this is, how do you make money on these things? Okay? It's real simple. Time erosion. And that's not to be confused with theta, time decay. It's really time erosion, because when you initially put on these broken-wing butterflies, if you follow them right and you follow the criteria we have, you'll notice that coincidentally, not by design, but coincidentally, a lot of times they'll start out delta, gamma, vega, and theta neutral. So if you have no theta, how do you make money off of theta? You don't. It's really time erosion. It's a collapse of the normal distribution curve, and we'll talk about that. The other way you make money on these things is by intrinsic value. The market happens to move in the direction of your butterfly, and like any other butterfly, you want it to close right at the center strike.